Okay, Lior, thanks ever so much for joining me today.
It's a
great chance for us to catch up in advance of the ClaimsTech live event, where you'll be showcasing some of the tech that you have in Digilog. Just for today, though, I mean, how are you? How's life at Digilog?
Oh, it's a quite an interesting and challenging period for all of us. I think that we see a lot of interest in the market. Post-COVID pandemic, things are picking up again, and the interest is there. And we, at the same time, investing quite a lot of time and money in improving what we have offering to the market when it comes to our technology and our solutions.
And do you feel we're fully out of COVID pandemic, Lior, or have we still got some tail of that?
Well, there is some tails to that. I mean, I just recently read an article talking about, the impact of the pandemic itself on the growth of premiums and insurance growth in general. Profitability was slowed down during 2020 to by around the 1.2%, and only now in this year we can start seeing this rebounding. So the impact was there. We are seeing the tail of it as we go along, but I think that it will slowly come back to some sort of normality, if I can call it that way.
I think so, and I think we still haven't seen the motor claims volumes bounce quite back, but I think it's probably not far off now to pre-pandemic. So yeah, business as usual almost, fingers crossed anyway.
Oh, absolutely. And well, let's not forget, cost of living have an impact as well. So we had a pandemic, but now cost of living is another element that have an impact generally on the claims, insurance claim. And I think this is going to stay with us for a while. The increase in numbers of claims across the board, really.
Yeah, unfortunate circumstances, but yeah, we are seeing that in the industry.
Indeed.
The theme, as you know, for this year's ClaimsTech live event is show me the money and happy customers, because ideally we're looking for kind of both of those. So if we bear that in mind and kind of Digilog and where you are at the moment, what's the latest developments for you guys kind of in line with that?
We recently launched our latest technology, or next generation of this technology. With what we put in mind is, fraud was always a topic that everybody was interested in finding tools and solutions for. But what we saw the industry moving towards is more and more customer journey, customer experience. So where efficiency and the ability to deploy technology such as the Digilog one at F&O, at the first notification of loss, where the claim comes through, having technologies that can help assist to fast track, make that whole claim process much more efficient, and therefore directly have an impact on the customer journey. Because the customer journey, happy customer means retention, means greater feedback, and that's very important to insurers, more than it used to be in the past. So we can see that focus shifting from not just validating and looking into fraud when it comes to claims, but also more and more the customer journey and how they can make that customer more happy and stays with them and have a good experience throughout the process. So what we've done is develop the technology or improved it in a way that this is in the sort of the main focus of using our technology at the front end, where they have the interaction with the customer, helping them to make that decision quicker and therefore have much more efficiency and better decision making, have an impact on the customer itself.
And anyone that isn't familiar, Lior, just give us a quick rundown on Digilog technology and how it's supporting to prevent fraud.
We're specializing in voice analysis, so validating information through voice analysis. So we deploy our technology among other tools that the insurers are using at F&O stage to begin with. And the idea is to analyze the conversation between the customer and the operators, asking questions that are relevant, and then trying to validate using that sophisticated technology and algorithms that sits in the background to help them detect any sort of red flags within the answer the customer is giving. This is not about necessarily lie detection as such, although some will relate to. It's about red flags, any indication of something that might be worthwhile investigating further. But what the flip side of it is that customers that are genuine, that are giving genuine statement, or the claim itself seems to be all good, That will mean that the insurance will be able, at the end of the conversation, to fast track that claim. So they will not have to go through the entire claim cycle. They will be able to make that decision at the end of the conversation, say this customer seems to be genuine, therefore let's pay that claim. And that have an enormous impact on the customer experience and journey. Makes them happy. They can see that the insurer is not just asking questions for the sake of that, or investigating elements that are quite, there's no reason to ask those questions. It's very specific, it's very focused, and therefore that have a very positive impact on the customers. So again, and that's what we have them to do. It's another layer of validation. This is not to replace any other tools that are using, with quite traditionally the credit scoring and other data washing, data comparison, and that will stay there. It's another layer that gives the insurer a real-time insight of what's happening in that conversation, and then helping them to make that decision as quick as possible.
So I guess back to the theme of ClaimsTech, the kind of, show me the money and happy customers, then we've got both with Digilog, I guess.
Absolutely. And that's the key here. Make the claim as quick as possible, at the same time keep the customer happy by making that decision as quick as possible. Many customers, one of the top 3 things that they are not very happy with their insurer is how long it takes to process their claim. So if we can contribute to that, by being able to really quickly assess the validity of that claim, that bound to have an impact on that customer journey.
And just, I guess, moving on to feedback then from the market, and what customers want, what the insurers want. What is it that you're hearing at the moment? What do people want in what we class as this new world?
This is one of the top elements that customers want to see. They want to see insurers being very focused, being very fair, and when I'm saying very fair is responding to the claim as quickly as possible and progressing and reducing the life cycle of that claim to the minimum possible. The faster the customer can see the insurer is attentive and dealing with their claim the way they think they should do, the better that keep that customer when it comes to their journey and their happiness, if I can call it that way. So many of those are doing and looking at whatever is possible and whatever is available at the moment in the market to improve on that element, because that will make not only their customer base happier and the process more efficient, but will have an impact on the retention down the line.
Okay, so and market trends then, customer journey, customer experience, which we're focusing on here. What are you seeing across the market in trends in tech? What are we doing now, and kind of what should we be looking to do in the future to support that customer journey and, making sure we show me the money as well?
You can see a really booming in terms of the technology that emerging into the insurance industry at the moment. And it's nice to see, good to see that insurance are taking up on that. It's moving away from the traditional way of doing things into embracing technologies that are available. Some of them already been using them as we speak. Some of the technology are coming up into the market, and more insurers are having a look at them. I'll name a few of them. One of the technologies that are available are to do with predictive analytics. It's used by many insurers to collect variety of data and helping them to understand and predict customer behavior. At the same time, and that will have an impact on the pricings of the premiums, the identification of any potential cancellation down the line, fraud detection, and many other things. I've read an article recently that talks about that insurance company that are embracing that type of predictive analytics into their claim cycle can see their loss ratio improved by 3 to 9%, which is significant amount of improvement. So that's good to see. Another element is the embracement or use of AI and machine learning. AI offers insurance companies the ability to create a better experience to the customer itself. With AI, insurance can improve the claim cycle, the turnaround of the claim itself, and the faster payment. and that will have an impact on the customer journey and customer experience, bound to have that. So AI and machine learning is something that, for example, Digilog embracing this new generation. So if up to now, the technology or the voice technology was based on very sophisticated algorithm, but statics one, all of a sudden now with the improvement of, or the introduction of machine learning and artificial intelligence, we can help the technology to improve the more conversation, the more calls, the more claims we put in through that. And what we see is that those organizations that using the data, the volume of claims that they have, to actually improve their own technology as they go along, which is a great thing to do. Another trend or a trend that's coming to the market is what is called IoT. It's an Internet of Things. This is the use of data, social media, and other data that home automation, smartphones, etc., using that data to improve detection, improve pricing, and this is going to grow as we go along. It's early days for that type of technology, but it's certainly there, and it's something to have a look at. Insurtech companies leverage the latest insurance technologies, cost and premium to customers is an element that is very important. So, and they need to find a way, because the competition is vast. How can we introduce technology that will help us to, by fractionally, reduce that cost to the customer and make them more competitive? So we will see that coming more and more and more. And lastly, if I may mention, is the social media. Okay. We see more and more insurance company having a look at social media like Facebook and Twitter, just to help them to collect data about customers and therefore improve not only in terms of the customer offering, but also from a fraud prevention and detection to collaborate information and see if there's any discrepancies. There's one company I came across, a Dutch company, that their process of interacting with the customer is entirely based on Facebook. So you go into your Facebook and you can submit a claim, you can process, the entire claim process is through Facebook, which is something that, we need to look for emerging as time goes, more and more social media usage by insurance company.
And how far off do you think that sort of technology that I think called the IoT, how far off in the future is that? Should I stop posting on Facebook today?
I think that we're looking at about 5 to 10 years. This will be quite a lot of organizations and insurance in specific will use this type of technology or data, which is available. It's only about collecting that data and do something with that data for the benefit of the customer. At the same time, the use of chatbots, for example, or the automation of interacting with the customer. I believe that there's always a need for the human element. But some research are talking about that by the 2025, 90% of the interaction between customers in insurance, between the customer and the insurer, will be through chatbots. And that's, maybe there is a place for it to make it more efficient, to remove overheads, costs, but there will always be a place and a time to have that human element between them. And I think, and I hope that this will never go away. So we will never have to speak with the computers all the time, but it's certainly a trend. It's certainly something that the insurance industry and generally organizations are moving towards: automation, use of computers, use of other elements that can just remove that human element and make things more quicker and more efficient by using automation. So that's another thing to look for.
And just, the developments that you've spoken about, which of those, are you pursuing all of those as Digilog to enhance what you currently offer, or have you got a specific target on one of them?
Well, certainly the issue of deployment or integrating the capability of machine learning and AI is something we've done already, and we will continue to improve because we can see how this can improve what we're offering. At the same time, I think, and this takes us into working in collaboration, in partnership, rather than inventing the wheel. we see that there's a lot of other technologies that are complementing to what we do. So instead of us saying, okay, let's invest time and money in developing that element, we partner with other technologies and embrace and integrate those two together. Digilog just recently signed an agreement with them, Intelligent Voice, that have many capabilities we don't. And we see the benefit of bringing their fantastic capabilities into our technology and vice versa. So we have a layer of voice analysis which we specialize in, on top of things like voice to speech or speech to voice, and analytics of the text itself. So analyzing the text rather than the voice. So in the past, many organizations said, well, this is something that is emerged. We need to invest money in developing that. What we see today is more and more organizations and solution providers are partnering with other technology rather than doing it themselves, which I think is the right way in the future.
Yeah, and partnerships, I think we all know, are crucial to success. And I think embracing the fact that someone might be better at something than you are and partnering, is a great concept. Thinking about your partners in terms of insurer partners, though, Lior, how are they winning by using Digilog? What's the wins that they see and would talk about if I was to ask them today?
Well, I look at insurance organizations in the UK or companies are our customers base, really. Although we work with partnership with some, but what we see, the trend that we see more and more now going is that they use Digilog in the beginning in the claim area. But what we saw is that once they prove the concept, once they see the benefit of having Digilog at the front end, having the ability to do fast-track genuine customers, and at the same time focus on potential fraudulent activities, seeing the direct improvement into the bottom line in terms of savings and the return on investment, what we see is that they start with claims, but then they say, well, we can see the success of Digilog and our partnership or our work with Digilog at the claims arena. Why don't we move from the detection of fraud in the claim arena into the prevention by putting the same technology in the front end, in the sales, with the sales force, when you're selling, especially if it's a direct insurer, when you're selling premiums and selling cover. So they will validate the information in point of inception and try to prevent the fraud coming down the line to them by being able to validate that information there, rather to wait for sell the policy, then 6 months, 8 months down the line, there is a claim, a fraudulent claim coming on the back of it, which is quite a good way of thinking in terms of, okay, let's improve, let's see how we can do more with this type of technology for the benefit of their customers. Because as you know, Sue, fraudulent claims, fraudulent activities, we pay for it. The genuine customers paying for it. There is a reason why insurance premium going up year on year. One of the reasons is fraudulent activities. Somebody has to pick up the bill. So the more we can do about it, and this is where we come to play, not just in providing technology, but just general improvement on process, other ways of training operators in conversation management, cognitive interviewing techniques, various things that we offer. The more we do in preventing fraud to come into your books, the better it will have an impact, hopefully, on premium costs to the general public.
Absolutely. And I guess in terms of market trends as well, are we seeing the cost of living crisis having an impact on fraudulent claims or potentially fraudulent claims, Lior?
I think we're starting to see that, and there is an impact because for whatever reason, there's element in the public that they see insurance claims as soft touch. They heard somewhere down the pub that said, if you submit a claim, you'll get it paid very quickly. So with cost of living rising and people struggling, sometimes that, and I'm not talking about premeditated fraud, I'm talking about opportunist fraud. I'm talking about people that are just struggling, and this is one way, even if they have a genuine claim, exaggerating the claim itself just to obtain a bit more is something that I think we're already seeing and will grow, unfortunately, in the foreseeable future. So again, that the type of technology we offer and other elements can help to prevent that sort of things on one hand, and obviously help those genuine customers that are in need to get their claims settled as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you think the industry is planning to kind of do in the future, tech-wise? Or I know we've talked about some of the technologies that are emerging, but perhaps shorter term, what should we be looking at in the next 12 months to support those customers, Lior?
Obviously, they have to look at Digilog, but that's put aside. My view has always been insurance have to be on the front in terms of exploring what is there available for them. Doesn't mean that they need to deploy everything, but what it means is that they need to check what is available, how this can help them, because there's a variety of things emerging at the moment when it comes to technology. So I believe that, and I can see that the appetite with the claims, senior claims managers and underwriters is to embrace technology and look into what is available. If it used to be 5, 10, 15 years ago, knocking on doors, going and doing things in the traditional old-fashioned way, more and more insurance companies are more open to see what is available. And this is what I think we'll see in the coming months and years. The more technology insurance companies are using for the benefit of their customers and also for their own bottom line in terms of fraud detection and loss. Or reducing leakage, if you can call it that way, because they are working in a very tight margin and they need to do whatever necessary to invest in whatever necessary to get to where they want to be and still be around in the coming years. So I think more and more insurance companies will look into whatever is available in the market, and there's plenty, and that will be my recommendation to them. See how certain technology can help them.
And, as you've said, there's a lot of tech out there. Is there too much for insurers to choose? Has that been part of the problem for them to embrace because there's such an awful lot of tech out there? Or what do you think's brought the change in terms of appetite as opposed to now deciding they want to embrace technology, Lior?
They don't have very much choice. They have to progress. You can't stay behind. And I think the UK is doing quite well comparing to other countries. The US, for example, is way behind in terms of deploying technology, and this is a good thing to see. The UK market is quite leading in that sense, and it's good to see that appetite. I know that there's plenty of technology available, but there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, all the insurers need to do is to look what is good for them, for themselves, how they can improve. Not everything will be applicable. Not everything is going to be suitable for a specific insurer, but the fact that we have them and it is available is something that certainly should be looked at as a positive thing.
Absolutely. And I guess before we finish, what's the next steps for Digilog in the claims world? So we've talked about AI, we've talked about some enhancements, but what are we going to see as improvements? If I'm an insurer talking to you today and I've maybe looked at your product 12 months ago, what have you got for me today that's different, Lior?
Well, I mentioned the issue of or the fact that we are partnering with other technologies. So if before Digilog had the technology can provide certain elements of the claim validation process, now partnering with others, we can quite quickly improve on that and offering other modules such as transcribing the conversation, validating the information through text, another element that before we couldn't, or it would have taken a long time to do. So that's one. Second is we will see more and more automation. So Digilog now can realize that there is a need to automate more and more element of the process. So if before it was very much on the operator itself to use it and how to use it, now with the new technology and the new generation that we're offering, more elements of the process when it comes to the Digilog product is being automated. So less and less intervention from the operator, still there, but more automation, more background analysis rather than something that needs or required an input from the operator itself. And inevitably, that have an impact on the time it takes to process that claim and the outcome itself. So, and indirectly, obviously, the customer being happy with how things going with the insurer. So this is what we're working very hard on, that element of automation, less operators, more technology in the background, at the same time giving the operators the tools to be more efficient as well in detection of any potential fraud in claims, and make it and at the same time giving a good customer service to those genuine customers.
So really what we're saying is that the technology is able to then work out when an advisor needs to be involved at that stage, and the information that they're giving them to make those right decisions. Okay.
It absolutely works in the background, independently of the operators' views of the claim, etc. It's like a different or a third-party overview of what's happening in that conversation, and giving that to the operators to then make that decision. So independently, automatically. So that is a great improvement for sure.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm very much looking forward to a demonstration you're doing at the ClaimsTech Live.
Absolutely.
On November. I've had a slight insight, and I think it's going to be very enjoyable. So for today, I just want to say thank you very much. And yeah, we will see you soon, Lior.
Thank you very much, Sue.